Hi, it's Janet Matriciani and welcome to the latest episode of the Just Janet series. Stories from my personal and professional life which have helped me be a better business leader. And this episode is called The Power of Double Checking. So we'll go back in time. We'll go back to when there was a Soviet Union and the Berlin Wall had not collapsed. And at this time, I was working in Moscow for a British engineering company. And I was learning all kinds of new things because it was a totally different environment to what I'd been used to, and my Russian was not as good as I would have liked, so I had language learning as well as business learning, cultural learning was quite extraordinary. And my boss, who had lived in Moscow for 20 years, he was a Yorkshireman and he spoke great Russian, and he said to me, "Well, Janet, as you know, we are building petrochemical plants in this joint venture that we have, this British-Russian joint venture. And we're building these plants in different places and managing them. And I want you to go to the petrochemical plant that we have in Kazan, which is the capital of Tartary, where the Tartars are from. And I want you to accompany the vendor that we have that's going to be wanting to sell some products to this plant, and you'll meet the factory chief and you'll talk to them about this. And it's very, very important that you say that we get 10%. It's very, very important that you say it, you make it clear, it's known, and you must absolutely say this." I said, "Okay, I think I got it, thank you." And when I left to go to the airport to meet the two gentlemen from the vendor, my boss said, "Remember, don't forget to tell we want 10%. I said, "Okay." So I went to the airport lounge where I was to meet the vendors, and I entered it and there were only two men and nobody else in the room. And I heard one of them on the phone and he was saying, "Where is he? I thought we were meeting earlier. Where is he? I can't believe he's here. The flight will leave for Kazan shortly." And I said, "Hi, I think you mean me. I'm here, I'm the representative from the company." He was a little embarrassed because he was expecting a man, but laughed about it, and we chatted for a bit. And we were in Domodedovo Airport, which is the domestic airport, and we headed out to the terminal. We took the plane, we arrived in Kazan for the night for the meetings the next day. And the next day I got up super early because Kazan is an incredible city and incredibly beautiful, and I wanted to get a chance to walk around in the snow, snows a lot, and experience the place. And then we all headed off to the factory together and we had our meeting. And during the meeting we were talking about the product, and I made sure I said to the factory chief, "And we want 10%. And he said, "What? What?" I said, "Don't forget, we want 10%, it's agreed." And he looked at me confused, and the vendors were shushing me up and going, "Shh, shh, no, 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 stop." And I didn't understand because my boss had told me to make sure I said this. So I said it one more time, "We want 10%. And they sort of diverted the conversation and the factory chief looked confused. And we finished the meeting, we had a good meeting. And the factory was amazing because on the walls, as you went out on the walls, there were giant banners saying, in Russian of course, things like, "Today you worked hard, tomorrow you worked harder, and work for the glory of the Soviet Union." It was very interesting to see this. Anyway, we get back, the vendors fly back to England where they're from, and I go into the office the next day and I tell my boss I think the meeting was successful, and don't worry, I told the factory chief that we must have 10%. He said, "What?" I said, "Well, you told me I mustn't forget, I must tell the factory chief we get 10%. He said, No, I didn't mean you to tell the factory chief, I meant you to tell the vendors. That's the agreement and the contract we have. Shouldn't have told the factory chief, it's not relevant, it's with the vendors." And I looked horrified, he wasn't happy, and I thought, oh my God, I'm going to be fired because I've made this terrible mistake. And I said, I'm really sorry. And he said, "Don't worry, Janet, I'll just tell them you're an idiot and you didn't understand anything and didn't know what you were saying. they'll believe it. And it's about the only time in my life I've been glad to hear that someone's going to tell someone else I'm an idiot and that will make things better for me. And I guess he did. I guess he smoothed things over and no more was said about it. And I carried on, able to live and work in Moscow. And the learning for me was just be very careful you understand to whom you must deliver the message and what the message is, and double check and maybe get it in writing and be absolutely sure so you're going to the right people with the right message at the right time. So that's the power of double checking. If in doubt, and maybe even if not, just do a quick double check to make sure you're on the right path. Cheers and have a great day.